About 4 years younger, not quite.
Yes.
Tell me about your relationship with your brother growing up. Were you guys close?
I mean, we was like the average kids, growing up. Actually, me and Bruce was closer, because by me being the baby, Robert was the baby before me. I'd put it that way. So when I came along, it's just like maybe I shouldn't have came along. So my mom kind of paid a lot of attention to me because I'm the youngest, and I really needed her help and looked for her guidance. So, he's no longer the baby at this point.
So you guys, it doesn't sound like you were particularly close growing up.
Not really. I mean, yeah and no, because a lot of times I used to try to look for his blessing on different things. By me being the youngest, we played basketball, things of that nature, and I used to want to be like Michael Jordan, like they wanted to be like Michael Jordan, so I wanted to always look for their approval. Bruce gave it to me pretty much, but Robert, it was a challenge. Because like I said, he was the baby before I was born, so. And
then tell me the order of your siblings, oldest to youngest.
My sister Teresa, she's the oldest. Then it's Bruce, then Robert, then me.
And Bruce is in prison right now?
He's in the county.
He's in county jail?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you decide to participate or be interviewed for Surviving R. Kelly?
Well, it's a lot of different things. I mean, that my family has endured and went through. I love my brother. A lot of people think that I'm trying to just like destroy his character or destroy him. It's not about that. My thing is, if my mom was here, my mom spoke the truth. And she always taught us to speak the truth. And it's like a lot of things that transpired and happened, I feel bad that I hadn't came forth earlier.
Like what things are you referring to?
I mean, just with the allegations with the girls and different things of that nature. When I was on tour, he used to ask me to go get girls, and I used to tell him no. That was another reason we fell out, because what Robert couldn't understand was how's everybody running around doing everything that he say, but his little brother is being rebellious toward it.
When you say he used to ask you to get girls, are we talking underage girls?
I mean, to me, they look underage. To me, they look underage. When I looked at them, I seen like my daughter. I'm like, man, she looked young in the face. Oh, you hating on me. I'm like, hating on you for what? I mean, I'm not going to do that, because I don't want nobody doing that to my child, so that's why I pretty much, I got to put this phone on vibrate, but that's why I pretty much got into it with him a lot, because like I said, you got grown people, adults that's working with him that did everything he said, like the puppet master.
Well, since we already kind of touched on it, the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, as you know, or docuseries, brought up a lot of serious allegations about how your brother treats women and also relationships he had with underage girls. Is there truth to those allegations?
I mean, well, he married Aaliyah. I mean, it don't get no truer than that. And these are documents and records that's available for the public. He married her.
Well, we know that happened, but what about, the women that came forth in the documentary and perhaps other women out there who weren't in the documentary, girls who were underage at the time? Do you know firsthand if there was any truth to that?
I mean, I wasn't around to actually see him actually, interact with girls like that as far as on a sexual type of tip. I've seen him, pretty much be interested, like, man, let me get her number, and if I didn't go get it, somebody else went and got the number.
And again, we're talking about girls who appeared to be underage.
Yes.
When was the last time you spoke to your brother?
I believe I spoke to Robert in, I want to say 2000, it might have been 6, whenever the case ended on the child pornography case.
2008.
2008. That's the last time I spoke with him. And when I spoke to him, even though my name was brought up in it, and a lot of people say it wasn't, my face was posted on the news, my name, my character, my liking was brought up in this case, and I was actually watching the news with my children that night, and I seen my face posted on the news, and I'm like, how did that happen? But what happened was, a lot of people don't understand and don't know, I did a lot of doubles for Rob. We don't look that much alike, but you can tell that we're related. And the doubles that I did was in You Remind Me of My Jeep, Your Body's Calling. It was a lot of times that I actually had the clothes on that he had on for a particular scene. Robert and his lawyers knew that. So they created reasonable doubt. That's what happened.
So what about what about, you've told me some personal stories, I won't talk about with whom, but what about, people you know of going to the police? Why haven't they gone, let me start with this. Why haven't they gone to the police? We talked about one particular young girl who's now a woman who says she was in your family, who says she was abused by R. Kelly. Why haven't they come forward, do you think?
Because people are afraid. It's basically, this is how I see it, and this is why my family is divided the way that it is. You have the people over here on this side is speaking the truth, and they're not with that. They don't condone it. Then you got people on this side feel like, well, if I ever say anything bad about Robert, he might not never give me anything. He might not never look. He might cut me off, and that's what they be afraid of.
Do you think your brother treats or has treated underage girls inappropriately, sexually speaking? And if so, why? Does he have issues?
I mean, yes, he do have an issue. Anytime an adult, look at minors or women that's underage, that's anybody. This is not just for Robert. This is any pedophile, any person that has that type of characteristics, where they can look at a girl and say, hey, you can tell a baby in the face. And what I mean by a baby, you can tell 15, 16, even though some of these girls do be having, they might be, thick, or as they call it, or they might have weight on them, but their face don't lie. You can look in their face and tell that they don't look of age.
But is he a pedophile?
I mean, I can't honestly say that for sure. I just know that he has a problem with control. I love my brother, but he do have a problem. And if anybody out there love him, they should want to see him get help. It's not just about jail time. It's about facing the issues and the different things that he is alleged of doing. I mean, it have to come to a head at some point.
You brought up, is there a reason, do you think, that might have led to this behavior? I think you talked about being molested, correct?
Yes.
I know that's very painful. Did that happen to your brother too?
Yes, I believe it did. I really believe it did, because the same person that molested me used to make it feel like I did something wrong, so I can't go outside. My mom's going to work, my stepdad going to work, so I mean, this is the only adult figure or teenager that's overseeing us. So I had to actually do everything that they said, and it's been several times that I knew that I can go outside, and Robert had to stay in the house. And when he stayed in the house, I could just imagine what happened to him, because I know what happened to me.